just that experience last year working in the slot and getting like full off season, knowing you're gonna be working a lot in the slot. Like, how much do you think that has helped now?
I think it's helped a lot. I watched a lot of tape this off season. Not so much about like what I was doing so good on, just kind of figuring out what I did kind of bad with. I was just kind of saying earlier, I had a really good conversation with Tyron this off season, and just kind of saying how he had an OG vet who kind of just told him like this is the year to kind of put it all together when he was going into his third year. And so, that's my mentality. Like, I just got to put it all together, right? It's inside or outside. I'm comfortable now for sure. I think I know the playbook well. I mean, they got me taking reps at nickel and at corner, so I have a better understanding. I already know what the linebackers are doing, but also knowing what the corners are doing and then knowing what my responsibility is, I can kind of win at my leverage or whatever my responsibility is.
You said Tyron made the jump in between his second and third year. You said.
Yo, he's going into his third year. He had someone who had told him. He had an older vet who had told him like put it all together this year, and that's what he did. And so yeah.
How nice is it to have somebody like Tyron to lean on for stuff like that?
It's good. Tyron's my boy. Me and Tyron, we hang out. We have really great conversations. And, a guy who's done it for a long time, done it at a high level for a long time. I think any young corner would like want to pick his brain, or young safety or young nickel want to pick his brain just because he's done it and he's had success with it. So that's what I continue to do.
How much does it help just to have the buy-in? Because I think a lot of it is mental. And DA says, it seems like you've just kind of done the buy-in on playing the nickel.
I think last year I was kind of back and forth, trying to figure out if I'm going to buy into playing the nickel or if I really just want to be a corner, and just kind of figuring that part out. But now, like I said, my mentality is just put it all together. And if I'm going to play the nickel, then I'm going to be the best nickel I can possibly be. If I'm going to play outside, I'm going to be the best outside corner that I can be. But, Coach Woods is doing a really good job. We kind of have night meetings to where we touch those small points maybe that we don't think about or we talk about in the special, or actually in the DB meeting. So it's great. I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it, and I'm not so much indecisive on do I want to be a nickel, do I want to be a corner. I'm just a DB at this point.
You seem to be seeking out Chris for one-on-one. What's going into that, and how helpful is it?
It's great. I think Chris is seeking out for me too. I think we're making each other better. And today, after the last rep, he just kind of said it like, keep going. We're gonna make each other like great. And I told Chris before this camp started, I told him there's no reason he shouldn't be an All-Pro receiver this year. No reason why he shouldn't be a Pro Bowl receiver. And so I'm gonna push him every single day. He's gonna push me and make me better every single day. But I love it. I think it's like 50-50. We kind of go neck to neck. It's not he's killing me or I'm killing him. So learning something every single day. I'm excited to have him on my team, and I'm gonna seek some for some she too. Though I need some of she reps too, not just Chris.
Is Chris like more intense this year, or is it just quiet enough that we can hear him talking?
Nah, I think Chris, his mentality's changed a little bit. Chris he's always been a dog, but he's always just been a dog on how he plays, and now you can kind of hear him chirping a little bit. And I think that just comes from the competitive side of it and just the physicality that we're bringing as corners. I think last year's camp we probably weren't as physical or excited about one-on-ones because we know it's not really football at the end of the day. But I took it upon myself to push Chris and make sure I put hands on Chris and make Chris better every single day. So Chris has always been that dog. He's just kind of verbalizing it a little bit more. That's what y'all are seeing. I don't think it's so much about how quiet it is. He's kind of always said a little bit, but now he's kind of louder with it. So.
Do you personally enjoy going back and forth with the chirping with Chris?
Yeah, I always talk trash. I think I've been talking trash for a minute. You kind of go back to my rookie year, I was doing it as well. And going against Chris, one of the biggest thing is if you're going to talk, you got to like stand behind it as well. And so when I talk trash to Chris, I know Chris is going to come back with a good rep. So I got to make sure I'm on my A game. That just gets me ready for the season because it's not going to change.
Doing that against 335-pound right tackles too, I noticed.
Oh yeah, Big Trev. Yeah. I know how Trev get down. And so, I'm always talking regardless how it goes. That's just the confidence side of me. I feel like if I don't talk trash, then I kind of look at myself like, are you confident in yourself going into this next rep, or did you just let him beat you mentally? And so I can't let nobody beat me mentally.
That's been true. That's as true in year 3 as it already was for you in year 1?
Yeah, for sure.
Does that apply to games as well?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. I think you kind of see my head bopping on TV, on film, so that's just part of my game, though.
How important is that mentality as well, playing on the inside, being there in the slot?
Big. That nickel, man, there's a lot of space in there, so you're going to lose reps. I think last year the biggest thing for me was I would lose a rep, man, and I would just kind of question myself. I was already indecisive on if I'm a nickel or am I a corner, and now I'm getting beat, so I feel like I'm not showing, who I am as a player because I'm getting beat so much. But I have the mentality now, man, where you're in a slot, there's so much space, there's places where you're going to get beat. Just try to win your leverage and be where you're supposed to be and catch tackle. That's my mentality now. So I'm cool if I give up a little 5-yard here, 5-yard here. The deep overs and things like that, that's my job to stop those, and that's an improvement I'm trying to make this season.
Is that focus going to knowing that you're going to buy into the slot, all these other things, does that change your off-season preparation at all, or does that stay the same for you?
No, I stay the same. I think whenever I do my DB work with OD in Atlanta, we work on corner stuff. We move inside. We work on nickel stuff. We watch tape, so we know what my weaknesses are. We know what my strengths are. And I attacked all those things this offseason. And so I feel like I'm kind of seeing that come into practice now. So excited for, when the season gets here, but we got plenty more practices for me to continue to grow.
Has going against this defense been helpful for you in terms of just all the motion and all the stuff that, you wouldn't see in practice previously with the old offense?
Yeah, the motioning thing is huge. I was kind of telling somebody earlier, I said, it kind of gives me a flashback to the Rams game, man. I had so many misreads, eyes were bad, all those things, but now I'm in practice, man, so I can practice it. Maybe I mess up here or there, but this is where I'm making it better. And so those guys are doing all those motions. I'm having to put my eyes in the right place, and I feel like I've done a really good job with having better eyes so far in camp. Just continue to grow in that area.
So many teams are trying to run that Rams scheme. I mean, I think the more teams run it, the better defenses will be at kind of shutting it down, or is it just an effective scheme? Yeah.
I mean, their scheme is good, man. I mean, you really have to have perfect eyes every single play, and if you don't, then there's going to be big plays that are made. And, I mean, the whole NFL can go and get that offense, but at that point, I think everyone will learn how to have better eyes, and then it would just kind of be back to a normal thing where it's just a good offense but also a good defense. So, stick to whatever you feel like works for you as the offensive coordinator and scheme up the team and go play.
Alontae, how good do you think the secondary can be if Marshawn's at his high level, you're at a high level, Olsen's at a high level, you guys play
And I think we can be the best. I think we can be the number one secondary, the number one defense. Like you said, we have a lot of weapons, man. Guys can play inside, outside. Kool-Aid's been doing a good job with taking reps inside and outside and knowing his responsibility, knowing his job. Debo going to, contract year 4 for him, Marshawn. He's getting healthy, he's getting better. So I'm just excited to kind of have us all back together. I think we was kind of hitting all things on top of the cylinder whenever everyone was here and everyone was healthy. But like I said, we got plenty more weeks left at camp. I'm excited to get Marshawn back soon, hopefully, and just continue to build our defensive back room.
How have you felt about Kool-Aid's performance so far?
Kool-Aid's good, man. He's a rookie. He's coming in. He's coming from a great program. Kool-Aid's super smart. He's a technician for sure. And I think the biggest thing for me I like about him is he's willing to learn, and he's open to learning. Like, he asks his questions, and whenever the older guys or guys who's done it at a high level speak, you can tell he's actually listening. And then he takes it out there and he applies it to practice every single day. So, I just told him keep chopping the wood, man. And this is a physical game, so when his opportunity comes, go out there and seize that moment.
Going back to Tyron, how much did you just idolize him growing up?
I ain't really idolized Tyron growing up, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Obviously, I knew who he was. And then, when I got drafted here, a lot of my friends and family was like, oh, my gosh, you got to go play with Tyron Matthew. And, I mean, I knew it was a big thing, but I didn't really know how big of a thing it was. But Tyron's taught me so much, man, from, coming in, being a leader at Tennessee, then coming to the NFL. I didn't want to try to step into a leadership role. Like, I'm a rookie. I haven't really made my way. But Tyron's taught me how to become a better leader for myself, but also for the DB room. And I feel like that's why I'm kind of starting to take over that leadership role. Not take over, but add into that leadership role in the DB room. But Tyron's elite in all areas, off the field, on the field. Like you say, he's been through so much as a person. So it's great, and I don't take it for granted.
Dennis was saying how, the outside perception of, outside corner versus nickel, the pay differences, how that doesn't matter, and wants us to go see you play. I know we've asked you about this a bit in the past, but, I feel like by this point now, you've just gotten used to, I'm just going to do what I need to do and kind of flush everything else that comes with it.
Yeah, man, I feel like I have a really good team around me. I have a great agent. I have a great manager, assistant. I have a really good team, and, kind of just talking to them about a little bit about some of that stuff. I think the biggest thing for me is that you can't ever go to the table, man, and ask for X amount of money if you're not making the plays. And so if I'm playing the nickel and I'm not making the plays, how can I go and say I'm an outside corner and I should be paid X, Y, and Z, right? And so I think the biggest thing for me is just go out there and make the plays, and whenever contract time comes and it's time to go to the front office for that, then I'll sit down with my agent, we'll discuss it, and then we'll just move from there. But right now, I'm just trying to win games, trying to help the team win a division, and then go from there. Money's not a big thing for me right now.
There's a level of sacrifice involved with that, though, right?
A lot of sacrifice. At the end of the day, I think you want to be on the field, though, right? And so I would rather be playing the nickel if that's not my best position for myself. I'd rather be playing that, though, than be sitting on the sideline and not playing at all. But I think the nickel position, making a lot of plays, you kind of get around the ball, you get the cover, you get the blitz. I think as the NFL grows and grows, I think the nickels will start getting paid what I think is probably the second hardest position on the field. But that'll come when it's supposed to come, and I give that to God, and I think that's the biggest thing. I haven't been too high or too low. I kind of been in the middle. Just play nickel, Alontae, when you're at nickel, play corner, you're at corner. And whenever it's time to talk about money, we'll talk about money.
Was it a process to kind of just, to really digest that mentality and be able to kind of set it aside?
Yeah, I think I had to pray about it a lot this offseason. And I had to talk to my mentor and my counselor, and I just had to figure out how can I clear my mind and be able to just go play football and not think about the other stuff. And they kind of helped me with that. And the biggest thing was just, like I said, you can't go ask for anything if you're not making the plays. And so I got to make plays before I can ask for anything. And so that's, again, if that's at nickel or that's at corner, I got to make the plays.
So I guess when you realized it was more this offseason rather than last season when you were in it?
Yeah, it was this offseason. It was probably about, I think if I can remember exactly, it's probably 2 weeks before we reported for camp that I actually sat down and I convinced myself that this is what it's going to be. And it's the best decision I've made. And I've been praying a lot, and like I said, I just come out here and have fun with it. I don't complain. I don't try to figure out in my mind. I just play whatever coach tells me to play. Alontae, you're at corner. Alontae, you're at nickel. All right, let's play ball.
Is it a goal of yours, or do you feel like you're just as good at nickel as you are at outside corner?
Nah, I'm great at outside corner. I'm getting better at the nickel. I'm always believe I'm an outside corner regardless how it plays out, even if I become a great nickel. But that's how I feel. And like I said, if I got to play the nickel, I'm gonna continue to grow and become great at the nickel position as well.
Kool-Aid might make this. Kool-Aid might have to do the same thing eventually that you're doing now. What advice would you give him?
I think right now for me is just how I handle it. I think Kool-Aid, like I say, he's observant. He likes to watch, and I feel like if I handle this situation in the wrong way, I might lead him in the wrong way. And so I have to make sure I come in with the right mindset when I'm at corner, when I'm at nickel. And he's doing the same thing. And I think the mindset I had last year wouldn't have been the best example for him if he would have came in last season or last year. So, I'm trying to lead by example and have positive energy, have great attitude about it. And like I said, I'm bought into it. So there's not really a back and forth for me right now. I'm going to do whatever my job is.
Alontae, when you said the right thing when Kool-Aid got drafted, I think right away on social media. But did that play into this assess and how you're going to approach things? I mean, when somebody gets drafted at your same position, obviously.
I mean, you think about it, right? There's a draft every single year, and so I think teams draft guys to replace guys, and so obviously I know that in the back of my mind. But I feel like if I was kind of talking to DeMario about it, or DeMario came and talked to me about it, and he just kind of said, if I allow myself to feel like I'm competing against Kool-Aid, I'm becoming to this dark space, and I become this tunnel vision guy, and I'm not this rah-rah guy or this high-energy guy. But that's not who I am. That's not my personality. When I do that, I don't play good or I don't practice good. And he just told me, let my light shine, right? Be a verbal guy, a vocal guy. Have high energy. Just think about football. Make the plays. And right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm not thinking about the competition. I'm just out there trying to make the plays that come my way and make sure I'm in the best position that I can be in. And then I just kind of let everything else take care of itself. And I think God's got it all figured out for me. So rather, I'm inside, outside. However it plays out, I'm going to be exactly where I'm supposed to be, and Kool-Aid's going to be exactly where he's supposed to be.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.